sense to believe that there's a creator. That there is an intelligent being that has created this universe and has brought us into existence. That is a very rational proposition. The opposite, even the most ardent that I can think of, exponent of atheism, at least today, Richard Dawkins, he calls one of his books Climbing Mount Improbability, because it's a mountain of improbability. But let's just give you an idea of how improbable it is. Okay? Here is a very, believe me, this is infinitely more simple than the most basic cellular structure. A basic living cell. Not the basic cell, but a basic living cell is hugely complex. This viral is a lot more simple than that. And the viral is made essentially of a few components. Plastic. Right? Well, let's forget the viral. Let's take something a little bit more interesting. It's a mobile phone. Just a wallpaper, yeah? Moving wallpaper. What next? Okay? So here's a mobile phone. Now, the mobile phone is made of two essential components. Plastic and silicon. Silicon being very important, the silicon chip. The chip. Right? Plastic comes from oil, and silicon is sand. Anyway, there's oil and sand. Tell me a place where there's lots of oil and sand. Huh? Huh? Saudi Arabia, for example. Okay? So there I was, walking along one day in the desert of Saudi Arabia, and I found this, a product of billions of years of chance and coincidence. Sand and oil, right? The wind blew, the sand thing, the lightning struck, the oil bubbled, you know, whatever, the camel trod, okay? And after billions of years of how many billions of years do you want? How many billions and billions and billions and billions of years? You give me as many billions of years as you like, and no human being is ever going to believe that a mobile phone was produced by some random events. Why not? There should be actually quite a few of these things lying around. Because this mobile phone is much more simpler than your brain, or than even a basic living cell. It's more simple. Therefore, the likelihood of something which is just pure, this is not living, this is pure matter. This is pure matter. There is nothing living about this. Yet we would never accept, billions of years, that it was a random event. But somehow we've swallowed this absurdity that our universe and that we and all the creatures and the multifaceted aspects are a product of chance and coincidence. I'm sorry, it's an absurdity. It's an absurdity. It's an intellectual, rational absurdity. Like someone once asked me, why won't you accept atheism? And I said, look, the reason I don't accept atheism is the reason I don't believe in Father Christmas. The same. You see, how does a big fat guy in a red suit fit down a tinsy-wincy little chimney? How does he travel all across the world giving presents to 2.5 billion kids in one night? It doesn't fit. In the same way, claiming that our universe and the life forms on this planet are a product of random events doesn't fit. Just like Father Christmas doesn't go down the chimney. But you know, that's the problem. We teach our kids lies. We teach them Father Christmas fits down the chimney. We teach them Rambo can take on thousands of Vietnamese. Guess what? It'll put it in his stick. That's it. You know, we believe these absurdities. We're indoctrinated with them. That's the only way these guys can get across and can get away with their claim. There's no other time in history people would accept such a notion. Very rarely. So yes, there must be a creator. And if there is a creator, which I'm sure there is, we can hope that God is going to tell us the reason for which we exist. And just like this mobile phone over here, made by Sony Ericsson, Now, if you're not used to mobile phone technology, when you bought your first mobile phone, I'm sure there was something else that came in the package that you were very eager to have a look at. What was that thing? Huh? The instruction manual, right? Would it have been any good if you bought out an instruction manual from Nokia? If your phone is from Sony Ericsson? Is that any good? It's no good, right? I said, I want the instruction manual by Sony Ericsson for this model of phone, please. Right? It's the same thing. Why do we want instruction from Marx and Lenin and Freud and Descartes and Kant and, I don't know, George Bush or whoever? I keep going on about George Bush. Oh, why listen? Whoever. I want guidance from the one who made me. You want your instruction for the phone you have from the maker of your phone. I want guidance from the one who made me. I don't need anyone else's guidance. I need the guidance from the one who made me. How am I supposed to work? What makes me go the right way? What makes me do the right things? I mean, we're faced with a fundament. We don't even know what we are here for. How about that? It's a very simple idea that God has given us some guidance to teach us what is the purpose of our life, what is the reason of our existence, and then even better than that, how we should live our life. How we should fulfill that created existence. Now, of course, in this regard, and the basic essentials of this, Islam does not differ essentially from the teachings of Christianity or Judaism. I don't know why people make it out there's the Muslims and then there's the Judeo-Christian tradition like it's something different. I remember I did an interfaith dialogue with 2 Catholic priests in Ireland on exactly this subject, the purpose of life. Believe me, at the end of the night, people said, okay, what's the difference between you guys? We can't understand. You're saying exactly the same thing. And we were literally, just said the same thing in different words. We both agreed what life was for. We both agreed that the purpose of life essentially was to know God, to worship God. When I say to worship, there's a problem there. Because unfortunately in our secularized society, we have a very distorted idea of what worship is. But the Quran actually tells us, which Muslims believe is the word of God, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. That God did not create the human beings and the jinn except لِيَعْبُدُونَ. To be His, to make ibadah of Him. Ibadah in Islam, I don't want to go into all of it, but the word is not really worship. The word ibadah is much more comprehensive than that. In fact, it is everything which God loves and everything which God is pleased with, from the actions of the heart and the actions of the limbs. So the heart, the action of the heart, things like love, trust, sincerity. These are actions of the heart, right? So you can love in a way that God loves. You can hate in a way that God loves or in a way that God hates. You can love some things in the wrong way and in the right way. These are actions of the heart. So the purpose of life is to try and make those internal actions as well as the external actions according to the guidance of God. And the true knowledge of God, it starts really from gratitude. It starts from that acknowledgement. And that's why the Bible is a great saying in the Bible. The fool said in his heart, there is no God. And really, because that is it. If you don't acknowledge God, then you will not be grateful to God. And if you don't have gratitude to God, you will never love God. Because from that gratitude, from understanding how much God has done for us. And the greatest thing that God has given us is that He's given us guidance. He told us why He created us. He gave us guidance how to live our life. So when you follow that and you live that, that gratitude increases. And that gratitude in return produces love. That produces love. And so at the heart, of course, of Islam, contrary to what people think, is the love for God. Is the love